Hey, boss bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind Eminent Terry's Moon, Flight Boss Star Changer Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now I want to talk about what is an agenda. Now for the most part, this is for my soul group. I know a lot of y'all see me slow down a lot more than average, because I be pumping out videos, but for the most part, throughout my stomach issues, I still go through bowel obstructions. Now, bowel obstructions, it pretty much ain't nothing I could do about that. Like, I got a hernia, I done had surgery down there, so a scar within the tissue from having surgery and having a misaligned stomach lining. So it ain't nothing you can do about that. I don't care what you eat. I don't care what you change your diet, whatever like that. A bowel obstruction is a bowel obstruction because of abnormal growth with the tissue down there. So I go through that also. So, when I slow down from time to time, that be the issue, y'all. And I kind of like disappear from the world. But for the most part, this video ain't about pain or ain't about me. It's about an agenda. Now, what the fuck is an agenda? I know everybody want to know, what is an agenda? So we're going to break this down. What is an agenda? Now, for the most part, let's look at the letters that deals with agenda first before we break this down. Now, the letters in it is dealing with A. Now, A, anything that start with A, that's a point of reference for the first time. Think about that. It's a point of reference for the first time. So when you point into something for the first time, you be like, yeah, that's A. Otherwise, you'll be doing a general statement. But other than that, when we look at A, anytime you look at the only two important sigils and signs is the circle and the line, right? Because the line lets you know where the energy is actually moving, and the circle lets you know it's a womb, so it's something that can inhabit that line. So the line could be an energy signature, and a spirit can take that form and play out its characteristics through that energy signature. So there's always an undertone and a spiritual backing to every sign, sigil, symbol there is. So I must say this also, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what you doing, what you trying to analyze, what you trying to calculate, what you're trying to measure, what you're trying to figure out the shape of, right? Anytime you add an extra interpretation or any type of extra interpretation to a shape and form that's in front of you, and mankind hold highly to these celestial bodies, which is another shape and form that's outside of you. But anytime you give an extra interpretation to any shape and form that's outside of you, mainly these celestial bodies, that's a form of astrology. Astronomy, whatever you want to, well, astronomy will kind of hinder you and limit your mind, because it'll take away the extra influences that these outside bodies have on you, and want you just to look at the movements, while these be the same people who use the same influences on your ass and keep you indoctrinated and keep you teaching their shit. You see what I'm saying? So this is what astrology is. Understanding the spiritual backing behind the shapes and forms that's outside of you. Now, we got people who jump into their own spirit and use it for their own nature, but that's not to say astrology is debunked. You can't debunk astrology. You see what I'm saying? And it predates everything. So, for the most part, let's get into this. What's an agenda? By us knowing astrology, we know that there's an energy force behind any type of shape and form or illusion that's in front of us. Because we know that, because we into astrology and not just astronomy. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, this gives us a extra understanding of things. So when we look at the signs and symbols and things of that nature, A is pointing to something for the first time. So when you look at Jinn, right? Now, agenda, it got Jinn in it. So what does Jinn represents? Now, I don't give a fuck if it's Jin, Jen, Jen, GE, whatever the fuck it is, it's carrying the same energy signature, just maybe in a different vibrational way. But it's carrying out the same energy signature, just in a different shape and form. And it may be more higher vibrational or lower vibrational based upon how many letters added to it, or how many more meanings is added to it, and based upon how many other spirits and bodies added meanings to it and what they added to it. So for the most part, when you look at Jinn, look at Genesis. So Genesis always represents what? In the beginning. So like I said, in the beginning means in a being. So Genesis is tied to an agenda. So anytime something has Genesis to it, it's an agenda behind it. Look at the Jinn. Genie, you know what I'm saying? Being generous. All this is dealing with demonology and things of that nature, and the demiurge and things of that nature. And when you look at demon, don't get high religious on me, When I say demon, I'm just speaking of a spirit that's vibrating low. So that's just a spirit that like to do things and condensed type realities. You have certain spirits that like to do things in higher realm of realities that's not as condensed. These what religious people will call angels, but these are the spirits that's vibrating high. Spirits that's vibrating low is spirits that like to do things in lower realms of realities and things that's dealing with animalistic natures and stuff of that nature. So religious people will call these demons, but these are just spirits using low forms, using lower bodies, lower shapes and forms. So this why in all religions they try to penetrate the human body being a demon, because when a spirit goes into a body, that means you was a spirit who wanted to experience your dream for a long periods of times. So that made you a demon, because you are a spirit that like to vibrate low all the time. So you like to take low vibrational shapes and forms. This is why you in a human body right now. But religious people take this shit too fucking far. I don't care what it is. You know what I'm saying? Whatever indoctrination you went to, it's a form of religion. And I don't like the sense of people trying to say astrology is that, because actually religion came from what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? Now, when we get into, you know what I'm saying, thinking about the agenda. Now, when you a person who oh shit, birds. See, when I get into it, birds come. I shouldn't have been scared though, because the bird came so close. He would have got it. He would have came in my motherfucking truck. But look, for the most part, when we talk about an agenda, now, if you got something that you want to do, think about all things you want to do in your spirit, just truly in your spirit, right? There's no agenda to it. You just do it because it's something you truly enjoy doing. You see what I'm saying? Is this something you truly enjoy doing, right? So whatever accolades you get from it, whatever prosperity you get from it, that's just add-ons. You know what I'm saying? Like me, right now, I love doing this. I love doing music. I love being in the spirit. I love communicating with the spirit. So I love communicating what I get from the spirit. So whatever I get from this, that's just a plus. Because I'm going to do this whether I get a gain from it or not in this physical realm. You see what I'm saying? And y'all know this. Y'all can contest to this. I only had 10 subscribers. Y'all didn't see me complain about that one time in no video. Like, that ain't what is this even about. So I don't carry an agenda with the spirit. You see what I'm saying? So let's break down agenda now. I know we 7 minutes into this, but we had to put in the meat and the bones and serenade this meal so we can kind of diagnose this the right way and eat a healthy meal, not just be eating all toxins and be lost into other people trying to tell you that you are lost in an agenda when they really the ones who lost in the agenda. You see what I'm saying? Now check this out. What is an agenda? Now an agenda is when you have to use a spirit to help you gain something. Now, or let's not say spirit, because you might be an atheist. Let's say an energetic force. You might have to use a pre-existent energetic force to help you gain what you want to get. Now, let me put this in the simplest forms. Let's say you work at telemarketing. Let's say you work for a telemarketing company, right? Now, this is the lowest vibrational, most lossless form. Then we're going to get more high vibrational, y'all. We're going to get into this. Now, say you are a motherfucking person who worked for telemarketing, right? Now, on your mind and on your spirit, you just trying to pay the bills and things of that nature. So you're not even thinking about anything. So for the most part, you not even caring about an agenda, and for the most part. But when you go work, say when you go clock in for telemarketing, say the Pacific part of telemarketing you work for is a cable company, right? The agenda that you carrying out is the motherfucking to get more people on that cable company, right? So when you call people, you personally don't give a fuck. You just doing your job. But the job you doing is to push the cable company's agenda. And their agenda is to get more people to be on their cable company so they can blossom as a business, and the majority of the city can be on their cable lines. You see what I'm saying? So you yourself is putting your energy into a fight, into a war that you are unaware of. But here's the crazy thing. You are aware of it. You are aware of it. Now let's go to a higher vibrational status, right? Let's say you wanna change the world in some way, shape, or form, right? And you want to make some money, or you want to start a business, or you just want to change lives. But the means that you are doing it, the means that you are using to do it is somebody else's shit. Think about it. It's somebody else's shit. So you are using a form of indoctrination to push whatever you're trying to push. So when we talk about an agenda, right? Now, here's where you get the concept of secret agenda and hidden agenda, right? Because when you're being backed and supported by energy or a spirit, that's the shapeless, formless realm. There is no shape and form. There is nothing for us to see. So it's automatically, by default, is going to be hidden or secret. So when you come around and you just want to do something for the sake of your own means, get your own prosperities, and you got people saying, nah, you got a secret agenda, you're going to be looking at them like, why do I got a secret agenda? I ain't got no secret agenda. That person or that group of people, spirits, are picking up. They're picking up on the energy that you're using to back and support whatever you're trying to do. So for an example, you have religious people, preachers, right? These are people, they have an agenda, and they have a hidden agenda. And their hidden agenda is the actual energy that they're carrying out. So for the most part, this preacher might be a preacher just to save souls. But the things that they're preaching about is helping the secret agenda. Now here's the thing. When you have a secret agenda, you got extra help. And with this secret agenda, this spirit or this energy already got a lot of people paying attention to it. So it already is a source. It already is a source that can be used. It's already an energy that can be used in many different shapes and forms. Because think about it. Anytime you try to do something yourself on your own energy, think about how hard it is. But think about when you apply yourself in something that's already got a gravitational pull to it, that already got energy signatures to it, that already got a lot of people paying attention to it. For an example, you can't just get up and start your own music genre. But you could jump in hip hop, you could jump in R&B, you could jump in these energy signatures that's already there, that other spirits that already added to, and that is already a force to it, and you could already create a separate form off your shit with it. You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm trying to say? So when you look at a preacher, right, they're pushing an agenda. So this hidden agenda is going to help you get what you get, but you also going to help the spirit that's helping you get what you get. You're going to help them get what they get. Now you're probably thinking like, okay, how does this work? Now this works like this. This works in a situation when it's like this. You help them in a situation where it's more like this. You're in a situation where you help. Yeah, I stopped it by accident. Yeah, but for the most part, like I was saying, when we talk about the agenda now, the hidden agenda, just look at that. Just call that the hidden energy or the hidden spirit. Now, for the most part, you help them and they help you. Now, when we talk about oversouls and things of that nature and hidden spirits and stuff like that, a lot of times we create oversouls. For an example, say me and a group of other people got together and created this concept or this idea that we gonna cling on to no matter what. So we create this certain moral system. That all of our minds, our mentals, we created a shape and form together. And us paying attention to that and keep carrying out those duties and obligations created a robot of form. Now, that's a body that any type of spirit can inhabit and use as a vessel and use that motherfucking energy. You see what I'm saying? Now, for the most part, depending on the bigger the body, the bigger the entity can take that body and it become a life of its own. And if we ain't got no control over our own selves and our own animalistic natures and things of that nature, when we keep catering to this shit, then that's going to put us in a circumstance or a situation where we get overthrown. But there's a lot of pre-existing oversouls and things out there that just walk this earth before you and just ascended. But let's before we get there, let's talk about the hidden agenda, how they help you. Since you're in the lesser life, it's going to help you in the concept of creating shapes and forms that you cling to as prosperity or something being positive or something, or you accomplishes something. And then you're going to help them by you carrying out their duties and obligations. You carrying out their concepts. You carrying out their ideas for them. Their agenda for them. So that's how they eat. So in the realm that they are in, that's how they get attention. That's how they get the source. You see what I'm saying? That's how they get force. So, depending on how popular the entity is and how much power and authority and how much source that entity has to create resources, a lot of shapes and forms can be created out of that shit. large shapes and forms and small shapes and forms, high vibrational ones, low vibrational ones in your life. Could be catastrophic events or events that be perceived as very prosperous. Y'all know I don't give a fuck about this language or words and shit though, but very beneficial for you. You know? But at the same time, for you to gain anytime you see somebody gain access to something real fast in this realm of reality, they have a secret agenda, whether they know it or not, no matter how pure their spirit is. They're backed and supported by a pre-existing energy that's already a source, that's already getting paid attention to a lot. So all they have to do is little to no work. And they're just adding their idea to that agenda. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say be careful with teaching anything unless it's dealing with spiritual nature. And spiritual nature is astrology. Point blank, period. You got people out here who got a bunch of fucked up spiritual natures. So the way they look at it might be fucked up. You see what I'm saying? Or the way they may teach it may be fucked up. But at the end of the day, it's understanding your spiritual nature at all. And we know the spiritual realm ain't no shape and form. And it only creates shapes and forms to play out its imagination the way it wants to play it out. But you know what I'm saying? It's not doing that by its motherfucking self. It needs these shapes and forms. So we don't need to be lost into these shapes and forms. Lights, signs, sigils, shapes. Keyword, shape. We do not need to be lost in that. We need to be into the spirit so we can understand whatever shape and form, whatever spirit jumped into a man or a body or a shape and form to make people believe that everything comes from a shape and form. And once you get into the concept of trying to explain a physical with another physical reference, that's a never-ending battle. And that's a form of lostness. So yeah, you're going to have a form of teaching forever, but teaching forever lostness. Where astrologers, we are not lost. We already know that this is all an illusion. So we're trying to understand how this illusion gets manifested in the first place. So we got a bunch of different clocks and wheels and different angles and different calculations of how we put this together. But the concept of man having to put or a calculation of things like that together should tell you something. And we all got the energy to be able to do it in our own way. Flight bus, bitch, goddamn air, and that's an agenda. So I don't have no agenda because I'm not. There's no backing supporting. There's nothing that's backing supporting what I'm kicking. Same way, like for an example, you got a music. You got people who talk about music all day, like bloggers, hip hop bloggers who talk about the beef day and then they get very popular, right? Because they all into the drama and shit like that, right? But they look at a person like me, right? And then say I get to their level, right? But they look at a person like me like, that ain't shit. That's just some hocus pocus type shit or some spiritual shit. We can't get on that shit. Let's get back to this shit. But you got to clearly think about what they're saying. They built their whole following on talking about other people who already have energy. So they have an agenda. Their agenda. And they're using a hidden agenda, which their hidden agenda is out in the open. But they have to use something else to back and support whatever they're doing to get whatever they have to do. Which I'm not doing any of that, right? So it shouldn't be no way any music bloggers have any type of funny jokes towards people who teach like me on the internet. You see what I'm saying? Because you use people to gain access, so you have a secret agenda. And people like me don't use anything. Well, astrologers. Flight bus, bitch. Goddamn air.